Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Stardust Dragon Synchron deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is the ultimate synchro deck to help you summon out all sorts of awesome boss monsters to help you go in for game. I've included some awesome tech cards in this build for you guys, so without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like in your name, description, every single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Stardust Synchron. This card is an extremely important 2-of in the build that has the ability, if this card's in your hand or grave, you can tribute a monster to special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. And if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a spell or trap card from your deck to your hand that specifically has Stardust Dragon in its text, which is always going to be your copy of Stardust Illumination, which is a really powerful spell card you can grab off this card's ability. We then play a single copy of Revolution Synchron. Revolution Synchron is really good in this deck to help you synchro climb in this build, because if you synchro summon a power tool monster or a level 7 or 8 dragon monster, this card in your hand can also be used as a material, which is a great ability. And if you control a level 7 or higher synchro monster while this card's in the graveyard, you can send the top card of your deck to the grave, and if you do, special summon this card, and also its level becomes 1, which is going to help you synchro climb into some really powerful cards. We then play a single copy of Assault Synchron, which is actually my favorite Synchron monster. Definitely comment down below what your favorite Synchron monster is, but this card has the ability that during your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand, then take 700 damage. Also, while this card is in the monster zone, you can't special summon any monsters from the extra deck except Synchro monsters. And if a face-up Dragon Synchro monster you control is tributed or banished, except during the damage step, you can banish this card from the graveyard and then target one of those monsters and special summon it, which is a great ability to work with your copy of Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon. We then play 3 copies of Jet Synchron. Jet Synchron is the most powerful Synchron monster we play in the deck, with a crazy powerful ability. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a Synchro material, then you can add a junk monster from your deck to your hand, which is a really powerful effect because we actually play a target in the deck for this ability. And it also has the ability that if this card's in your graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand to the grave to special summon this card, but banish when it leaves the field. But you can only use 1 effect this card per turn, and only once that turn. We then play a single copy of Stardust Trail. Stardust Trail is a really good 1-of in the deck to help you synchro climb because it has the ability, if a monster you control is tributed, then you can special summon this card from your hand or grave, but banish it when it leaves the field. And if a Warrior, Synchron, or Stardust Synchro monster is synchro summoned using this card as a material, then you can special summon a Stardust token that's a Dragon Light level 1/0/0 attack and defense to your side of the field, giving you a token so you can keep climbing. We then play a single copy of Junk Servant. Junk Servant is the tech card that I'm playing in this build to be able to search off our copy of Jet Synchron, with the ability that if you control a face-up junk monster, then you can special summon this card from your hand, which is a really awesome ability. We then play 2 copies of Diabellstar, the Black Witch. The Diabellstar package in this deck is just amazing to be able to play because of Jet Synchron, and this card is just a really cool ability that you can special summon this card from your hand by sending 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard, which is a really cool ability to be able to use this card. And if this card is normal or special summon, you can set a Sinful Spell or trap directly from your deck, and during your opponent's turn, if this card is sent from the owner's hand or field to the graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card, which is a really insane ability. We then play 3 copies of Kashtira Fenrir. This card is amazing in the deck to help you synchro climb because it works like a cyber dragonish monster that if you control no monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. It searches an additional copy of itself and it spot removes cards off the field, which is amazing in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Water Enchantress. Water Enchantress is great to help us get to our copy of Rite of Arameser, and it's really cool to be able to use that package in the deck to establish our copy of Wandering Griffin Rider on our side of the field, so we can have a negate on our side of the field and help us synchro climb, which is really nice. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is amazing in this deck to basically use this card to make your opponent stop touching the deck, which is really important in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird. Droll and Lockbird is really good in the deck as well to make your opponent not be able to search for the rest of the turn, which is just really important in this meta. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is a really good one-of in the deck to be able to use, and a really powerful card in this build. We then play a single copy of Stardust Illumination. Stardust Illumination is really cool in this deck as a one-of to be able to search off your copy of Stardust Synchron with the ability to send a Stardust monster from your deck to the graveyard, or if you control a copy of Stardust Dragon or a Synchron monster that lists Stardust Dragon in its text, you can special summon it instead, which is a really cool ability to be able to use, especially since you can grab this card as a one-of in the deck of your copy of Stardust Synchron. It also has the ability that you can also banish this card in the graveyard to target a Stardust monster you control and increase or decrease its level by 1 until the end of the turn, which is great to level manipulate your cards so you can go for the exact Synchro monster that you want. We then play a single copy of Synchro Rumble. Synchro Rumble is great in this deck because this card is basically Monster Reborn and searchable off the Crimson Dragon's ability, so it lets you target a tuner or a level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchro monster in your graveyard and special summon in defense position. Also, for the rest of the turn, after this card resolves, you can't special summon monsters from the extract except Synchro monsters, which again, not that big of a deal because that's all we're summoning anyways. And if a level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchro monster or the Crimson Dragon you control would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you manage to discard from the grave instead, giving you some protection, which is really nice. We then play a single copy of the original Sinful Spools, Snake Eye. This card is great as a one-of in the build to help you get to your copy of your Jet Synchron, and it's just crazy powerful in this deck. I absolutely love this card in the build, especially since you can get to it with your copy of Bellstar, and it just lets you send one of their face-up card you control to the grave to special summon a level 1 fire monster from your hand or deck, which is just amazing to be able to do. We then play a single copy of Fateful Adventure. This card is really good in the deck as a one-of, just to be able to work with our adventure package, especially since this card basically gets us to our Wandering Griffin Rider and our copy of Draco back, which we play as a one-of in the build as well. This card is great in the deck, and it's basically Compulse, which is why we play this card as a one-of with the adventure package. We then play 3 copies of Rite of Arameser. Rite of Arameser is so important for the deck to be able to use to instantly get you a token on your side of the field and get you to your copy of your Fateful Adventure, especially since we really don't need a normal summon effect. It's just really good. We then play 3 copies of Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spools. This card is really good to help us get to our Bellstar, and it's basically Rhoda for Bellstar, and it also lets us draw a card, which is great because if this card's in the graveyard, then you can actually banish this card and then place one of your Sinful Spools on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, you get to draw a card, which is so cool to be able to do with this card's ability because it lets you recycle a copy of the original Sinful Spools, which is amazing. We then play 3 copies of Synchro Overtake. Synchro Overtake is basically like Fusion Deployment for the deck, and it's just really good because it does lock you into Synchro Summoning, but all you have to do with this card is reveal your copy of your Jet Warrior to be able to summon out your copy of Jet Synchron from the deck, which is just absolutely crazy in this build, and it's a really good 3-of in the deck. So, that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get in to the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3, and that's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Impermanence is definitely a 3-of to go along with our other hand traps in the build, just to be able to use this card to stop monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. You can also play Effect Veiler over this card if you want to, just have an additional tuner in the deck, but I really like being able to set this card to my side of the field and use it at any time that I want to, as long as I don't control a card, which can be really impactful in certain matchups. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get in to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start off with the Crimson Dragon. The Crimson Dragon is a really cool card that has the ability, if this card is special summon, you can add a spell or trap card that mentions Crimson Dragon from your deck to your hand. And quick effect, you can target a level 7 or higher Synchro monster on your side of the field, and then return this card back to your extra deck, and if you do, special summon a Dragon Synchro monster from your extra deck with the same level as the targeted monster. And it is treated as a Synchro summon, which is very, very important because we're playing Majestic Star Dragon. This card is crazy powerful, and you might be wondering, how do you summon that? Well, very easily. You summon out the Crimson Dragon, and then you summon out Psychic End Punisher because this card is a level 11, and your copy of your Majestic Star Dragon is level 11, and you use the Crimson Dragon's ability right here to be able to summon it out by targeting Psychic End Punisher, putting this card back, and then summoning out Majestic Star Dragon. I really wanted a way to be able to summon it, and I started playing around with this deck a lot and figured out that you can actually do that, which is crazy. And this card has the ability, it must first be Synchro Summon, and since the Crimson Dragon treats it as a Synchro Summon, you can. It has the ability that basically once per turn, you negate the effects of one effect monster that your opponent controls, and this card gains one additional attack for during each battle phase for every monster in your graveyard that is Stardust Dragon or a Synchro monster with Stardust Dragon in its text. And once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, banish this card until the end phase, and if you do, negate the activation if you do banish that card, which is such a cool ability. We then play a single copy of Psychic End Punisher. This card just wins games. It surprises your opponent. They don't ever see this card coming in this deck. And it's a really big monster that you use to be able to target with the Crimson Dragon to step into your copy of Majestic Star Dragon, which is just amazing. I love how easy it is to make this card finally. We then play a single copy of Dispatter. Dispatter is just a walking negate in the deck. You can make this card with Crimson Dragon as well with your copy of Baron de Fleur, because Baron de Fleur is really good in this deck as well. To be able to use this card basically is a walking negate, which is just really cool. We then play a single copy of Ravenous Croco Dragon. Ravenous Croco Dragon is just really good in the build because it pops cards and lets you draw cards, which is always amazing in a Synchron deck. We then play a single copy of Crystal Wing. Crystal Wing's really good in this build as one of, because this card is a walking negate, and it's just really cool to be able to summon. We then play a single copy of Psyframe Lord Omega, because it rips cards out of your opponent's hand. One copy of Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon. This card you use as a stepping stone to be able to summon out your copy of Stardust Dragon, and you use this card to be able to step into your copy of Baron de Fleur, because you can bring back your copy of Assault Synchron, which is really good. And it has the ability, if this card is Synchro Summon, you can special summon a level 2 or lower tuner monster from your graveyard, so you can't even bring back your copy of Jet if you want to, which is really cool. And then play a single copy of Stardust Dragon, the original Stardust Dragon. I love this card. It's such a nostalgic card, and you can summon it off your copy of Excel Synchro, which is so cool to be able to do. But this card is just amazing. It's one of my favorite cards in the game, and it's just really cool. It just helps you from basically getting your cards destroyed, which is really nice. We then play a single copy of Stardust Charge Warrior. It lets you draw a card when it's summoned. We then play a single copy of TG Hyper Librarian. Hyper Librarian is amazing in the deck because every time you Synchro Summon, you get to draw a card. Not once per turn, by the way. One copy of Jet Warrior. You're never summoning this card to your side of the field. You're just revealing it for Synchro Overtake, which is really cool to be able to just reveal this card and then summon out your copy of your Jet Synchron from the deck, which is amazing. Play a single copy of Junk Speeder. Junk Speeder is probably one of the most important cards in the entire deck, because this card has the ability, if it's Synchro Summon, you get to special summon as many Synchron tuner monsters as possible, different names from your deck, and Defense Position, which is crazy powerful to instantly get the exact ones you want on your side of the field, which is just really, really good to be able to summon out your copies of your Stardust Synchron, your copies of Revolution Synchron, Assault Synchron, and Jet Synchron, getting you 4 monsters on your side of the field with this card's ability. And then finally, you play a single copy of Excel Synchron. Excel Synchron is great to be able to play in the build because it can level manipulate itself, which is great to help you go in for synchro plays. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is amazing to be able to play. I love playing Stardust Dragon Synchron because it's so cool to be able to do, because we're constantly getting support for this deck, and it's just really fun, especially being able to summon out the Majestic Star Dragon, which is such a cool card. I love being able to summon that card out to my side of the field with the Crimson Dragon's ability. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.